so far I have 2 panels on. I've already drilled the holes for them and everything and put the hardware in, and I got 2 more panels to do. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the hardware and what I did basically before I forget.
Oh, the day I break these chains, I'm bound for the life of the simple things.
Guys, so I got that rack that I just made for the solar panels up there. And I'm gonna have that centered, and I'm thinking on each side I'll put a 6-inch pipe for some shower water. I'm waiting on some fasteners because I don't want it to be able to be stolen, so I'm gonna have some special fasteners on here that can't be disconnected without a special drive bit, so it makes it harder for them to be stolen. Okay, let's see how long we can power this 5,000 BTU AC unit on the Kodiak. I'm gonna fire up the Kodiak here. It's gonna give us power at our watt meter here. So it ramped up our voltage. Time has started at 0 here. Let's go ahead and fire on our AC unit. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and speed it up to auto cool, and we're going to give the mode to cool so it's not saving energy. We got it full blast here. Temperature range all the way down, and let's watch and see what the Kodiak does. But it's only taken 400 watts to run this AC unit right now. At the plug here, of course, because the kilowatt meter here tells us what it's running at the plug. And this here tells us what we're taking at the battery. Now we're gonna go ahead and run this all the way down to its 20% point, which with lithium technology, 20% battery is where it's advised to keep the lifespan up, that you don't drop below. And we're gonna see how long it's gonna power this. I'll come back and check on it in about 45 minutes and see where we stand. We're at 47 minutes now according to Kilowatt. We've used 350 350 watt hours, so that's 0.35 kilowatt hours, and we're still going strong. We're still above 50% battery at this moment, and she's still rocking. I'll check in about 15 minutes. At 1 hour and 3 minutes now with the Kodiak. It's drawn 470 watt hours so far, and we're still going strong. We're starting to get to the 50% point. Now this does have a load on it, so we may actually have a little bit more room than that. And we haven't adjusted it at all. It's still at the hardest pull we can possibly do on it. It looks like we're going to be in the 2-hour range. Now you got to remember that with what I've set up here, this is the hardest it can possibly work. So there's no way for this AC unit to actually cool it off to the temperature, so it's going to be solid on. In an environment where you're inside a closed environment, it has a chance to end up being able to turn the compressor off. I will do that test later. Hour and 30 minutes that we've been running. At the plug, we've drawn 660 watt hours, or 0.66 kilowatt hours. Now, here, if we look at the Kodiak, he's still going, she's still going. It looks like we got about 10% of the battery left. It just went into the 30% range, so, you know, roughly wherever that is. We're at 752 watt hours, pulled straight from the battery, according to the Kodiak here. 754 watt hours according to the Kodiak. You know, we're supposed to be able to get about 880 watt hours at the battery. So we're getting close to that. That's where we should stop drawing the Kodiak down. 20% battery life at it, should be at 880 according to its rating. So I'm going to go ahead and shut her down when we hit that 880, get a number on that, and go from there until it shuts itself off. Oh, shut itself off just now. Hit the 20% mark. We got 2 indicators. So we made it 1 hour and 40 minutes until it shut off. And that's 830 watts. So we'll be able to calculate an efficiency of discharge now. I'll shut her down so we don't ruin her. Now the sun's already setting there at the hill, but I figured I'd go ahead and still show you guys how the Inergy Kodiak 100-watt storm panels work. So it's so easy to hook this up. It's plug and play. And we go ahead and we disconnect this guy from it. All we have to do is insert in here, twist, and now we've connected. Then we take the Kodiak here, and I have the cable running along here just to kind of play with this up into my storage bay, or the electrical bay, right along with where the power cord is here. All I have to do to hook this guy up now is I go straight in here and I twist it there. Boom. She's already charging. That's the easiest way to instantly have a solar setup. I haven't seen anything easier than this, and we're already getting a charge despite how low of sunlight that we're getting to that panel. Got my security fasteners and everything, and I'm about ready to go and mount the solar panels and the solar panel rack I created yesterday. Here's my rack that I created yesterday. I'm gonna stick it up there on the van and anchor it down with my security fasteners. I'll show those to you in just a moment. I'm gonna leave it right here towards the back of the van on the one part of it, and I'm thinking I'm doing that simply because by doing that I can use this later on to even maybe mount a backup camera, because I'm planning on putting a tow hitch down here. This van didn't have a tow hitch. I have it right here. This is a Reese tow hitch. This is an aftermarket product, and I'm going to be putting that on. And then I'll be able to put like a metal box here on the back that I'm going to use to store the generator, some extra gas, and some extra water. I'm going to be basically lagging down, I guess is the term I'd use it for, this rack into the van's regular rack here. And I'm going to do it with these self-drillers. Now these self-drillers are very special. So if you see here, I have a torque security head. So that's not a very common tool that is actually used for it. So it's going to make it harder for somebody to steal it. So far, I have 2 panels on. I've already drilled the holes for them and everything and put the hardware in. And I got 2 more panels to do. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the hardware and what I did basically before I forget. This has actually been a lot more work than I had anticipated, and there's several things that I'd probably do differently if I did it over again. First off here, I thought I'd go ahead and show you what I'm using as a spacer. So this washer here is an 1/8" washer because of these guys right here, and also my rivets that I actually have on the holding all this together, as you see here, my rivets there, so that the panels laid even and there wasn't some kind of really strange twist or or unlevelness within the panel when it was going across this to cause more strain on it. So I got that washer right there for that spacing. I wanted to make it as absolutely difficult as I possibly could for anybody to steal the panels, you know. And so what I went with is a security head type bolt. So somebody has to have a very special Torx security driver bit, and it's not real common. Like, you're not going to be seeing it everywhere. And it's just 3/4 inch, so that I could get a couple of spacers, washer and a spacer in there, and then still be able to get my nut on. And then right here is a lock nut, and I went with a lock nut because I knew if I did the lock nut, first of all, it's not going to back off, but that wasn't the main reason. The main reason is with this lock nut, somebody's going to have Torx type driver to be able to do anything as far as taking that off, because they're not going to be able to just turn this off. It'll turn the head of the bolt as well because of how tight this fits on. My hole in the solar panels is about 8 inches in. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and marked a spot to drill about 8 inches in from the side. My hole is about 5/8 of an inch in from the side of the panel. I'm going to put a mark here about 5/8 in from the edge of it here, as you see there. And then that's where I'm going to drill my hole. And I'm going to do that on each side. Where I have that little cross is where I'm targeting my hole to be drilled in there, because obviously stuff can always be off a little bit. My measurements, the actual frame here might not be perfectly square. All those things can be an issue. And there we have it. There's my hole. All the panels drilled in and loose fitted the hardware, and now I got to go and tighten it up on all of them. Not going to be an easy reach, but I needed to make sure everything was fitting in here first. I thought I'd hurry up and quickly show you the easiest way out there to basically hook up solar. So these are Inergy 100-watt panels. They're the Energy Storm panels, and it's plug and play solar. All I did is snap that in there, and I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm just doing this to show you guys how easy it is. And then snap into here on this one, and then the next one, snap in another cable, run it along here, snap into there, snap in that one, and run it along here. And now our panels are wired in parallel. And the reason why they're wired in parallel like that is because Inergy does some soldering work inside the control box, so that it's that simple to put them into parallel, and they need to be in parallel to work with the Inergy Kodiak here. So now I'm gonna connect the panels that I just wired up in series just by plug and play, and we're gonna go plug and play into the Kodiak. Okay, so now we are connected here. Just the same little twist guy plugs in there. It's at 12.46 volts right now, and I come up here with the cord. Boom, right there, just twist connected in. Solar is all wired up, and I would of course make sure that my cables all here are tied up. I'm gonna zip tie them up underneath here, wrap them around the little poles and stuff, and then I'm gonna take this long one and I'm gonna go into the side of the van there with a junction box. There she goes. She's charging away, even though we have very little sun left. Get out there, connect with people, live your big story, and make sure you do something every single day to reduce world suck. Peace, guys.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We come a long